Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another special Thursday episode of Movie Monday. Today with, of course, the spoiler-free impressions of Black Panther. I'll probably come back Monday and do a spoiler-filled version after I go and see this movie like one or two more times because it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the most beautiful Marvel films we've gotten so far. The work that they do in Wakanda to kind of flesh out the lore and the history of Wakanda is beautiful. The color palette in a lot of the scenes are just phenomenal. And there's a line in there about Wakanda has the most beautiful sunsets that comes back into play a couple times, and it lives up to kind of the beauty that is put forth on the screen. So really beautiful, great cinematography, great action in a lot of the scenes. You have some great car chase scenes that you've seen kind of in the trailers a little bit, where the Black Panther is is chasing after Andy Serkis's Ulysses Claw character. You have like a great kind of final battle here that's not just fighting something up in the sky, blue light in the sky that kind of Avengers started and then like has been like the third act of so many superhero movies. This is a much more personal story. This is very much the story of kind of T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther character, kind of coming into his own as the new leader of Wakanda, the new leader of his people, and setting the tone for what Wakanda will become. If you're unfamiliar, Wakanda is very much like a technologically advanced civilization, but they've hidden themselves away from the world and gone under the guise as a third world country. But they've got like such superior technology that they're basically cloaking themselves to the rest of the world, and the stuff that they have makes Tony Stark look like an amateur. So they've kind of hid themselves away from the world, and there's kind of a battle of this film that is, do they stay hidden? Do they continue to hide, to protect themselves, or do they share their knowledge and their power with the world and the people among them? You have Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger. Warmonger was Tony Obadiah Stane back from the original Iron Man. Anyway, Killmonger comes into this picture very much like on a turn of vengeance. He knows of Wakanda's power, and he hates that Wakanda has sat by idly for centuries and centuries watching African Americans go through the slave trade and the suffering of the rest of their continent, let alone African Americans or Africans around the world. He feels that Wakanda should use its power and its might to reach out to those disenfranchised people and rise them up and make black people the ruling class. So it's an interesting kind of opposing very personal ideologies between him and Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, who is kind of a mindset that he definitely doesn't want to use like his power for war. The history of Wakanda is that they will defend themselves when needed, but they're not going to use their power, and their power has come from like the meteor of vibranium that like plummeted to the earth millennia ago or whatever, and so a little bit of vibranium has gotten out over the years, but they've mostly kept it to themselves, and it's not just the most powerful, the strongest metal on Earth. It also like powers their technology and helps kind of keep them so technologically advanced. So it's an interesting kind of battle of ideologies over the future of Wakanda that you have in this film, and there's a very personal kind of backstory between these two characters as well. that really kind of fuels their fire. Elsewhere, you have Lupita Nyong'o as Nikai, I think, who's kind of Chadwick Boseman's love interest, but also like she is a spy within the Wakandan kind of special forces-ish kind of thing. She's out there. She on the in the dueling ideologues of Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan, she actually leans more towards she wants to help people. She knows that people are out there suffering, but she's not specifically speaking of African descendants, African Americans or black culture around the world. She wants to use Wakanda's technological advances to help kind of everybody, because she thinks that they can, and so she's trying to kind of bring T'Challa over to that side. So another kind of third ideology in there, and that kind of fuels her allegiance at times throughout the story. You have just wonderful performances across the board. Wonderful stories. Again, this is a very interesting in that it is such a standalone film this deep into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it's defended effectively because Wakanda has closed themselves off to the world historically. So really the only kind of previous previous characters that kind of carry over into this film are the Black Panther. You have Ulysses Claw, Andy Serkis, and then you have the Martin Freeman Everett Ross character that got introduced in Civil War. He kind of comes in. He meets up with T'Challa in kind of a weapons trade thing gone awry, and he ends up getting brought into the fold and shown the secrets of Wakanda, and kind of he becomes like a necessary ally to T'Challa in the feud between him and Killmonger, and everything else is like Wakanda. It is there, like Wakanda forever is kind of the battle cry, and this is very much Wakanda's movie. So it fills out, a new aspect of the Marvel universe, kind of hidden in plain sight, effectively, and it does a really great job of it. The CG looks really cool. I think they do a really good job of it in the big sprawling Wakanda shots. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to go see it again. I loved the story. It's of course it's going to be very powerful and important story, in much in the same way that Wonder Woman was last year for women to see kind of themselves empowered up on the screen in such a prominent way. Black Panther is of course super empowering with such a strong, dominant, and powerful cast of black actors. So I very much look forward to seeing it again, and I very much look forward to the power that has in this story. I think Ryan Coogler, I think, has done incredible work here, kind of bringing this all together and telling an incredible story, and everybody brings their A game and just knocks it out of the park. Wonderful story. I can't wait to again see it again, and I look forward to seeing where the universe goes from here, because of course I think the next thing we have is Infinity War, and so where does this all kind of go into Infinity War? Because this very much picks up pretty much right after Civil War leaves off. It is T'Challa coming into power, and kind of figuring out the future of Wakanda and where we go from here. So in the bigger Marvel Cinematic Universe, I am excited to see where we go from here as well, with Infinity War next up on the docket in a few months. And this is just a phenomenal movie. It's up there with something like Winter Soldier in terms of like a very politically charged film, and I love what this movie has to say. So Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. As I said, I'll be back on Monday with a little bit more spoiler-filled kind of impressions, or at least just talking about the more spoilery aspects and kind of my reaction to them. Let me know what you think about Black Panther in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.